We are live on a Sunday. I'm just waiting for DJ to show up and we're going to get this party started. It's been a week of pro wrestling that we're going to get into for sure. There's my co host. He has just arrived. I'm going to send him the invite and we are going to get going. Did you get that
All
in?
right, have no fear. The great one is here.
I've been here. You just got here though.
The greater one is here then. Holy shit. It's been a week. It's been a week in wrestling. Shout out to Ropes. The IWC's favorite misogynist.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's been in rare form, rare form.
I fucking love Ropes.
Holy shit!
I was gonna invite him onto the show today, but then he's like, "I'm at a gig until 8." I'm like, "Fuck. All right, we'll make it work."
He's listening.
He's definitely listening. He said he could listen, but as far as him participating, he's busy at work, so
Oh.
he'll be here with me in spirit.
And we got Aaron here, wrestling Jesus in the house.
Don't you mean Judas?
Well, he has turned to the dark side this week, so maybe my influence has definitely been on tap for this guy.
Now you understand what it's like with me and Ropes. Ropes used to never be like this until he met me. Now that he met me and he's seen like how many people I just tear apart on the occasion, he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna unleash my inner TJ. Unleash the wrath. But yeah, no, it's been a crazy weird week with wrestling. There's been a lot of wrestling shit going on. It's not like this hasn't been a newsworthy week. A lot of shit happened. You had No Surrender. You had AEW going for a Grand Slam and ended up hitting a ground rule double. So that's neither here or there. WWE still in the shitter as always, but we still got to talk about it because it's still quote unquote the industry leader. And Meltzer or his fan base apparently don't know shit about wrestling.
Okay, well that's not breaking news. That's the standard bearer.
Well, we at least got the yearly reminder that Meltzer and his fan base don't know shit about wrestling. To the point that even the two fucking hosts are sitting here like, y'all got this shit completely wrong. The fuck are y'all doing?
Well, you know, I found the timing to be interesting after he dropped the ball about his false report about WBD, and then he released the awards to kind of cover that up.
The look at the pretty pony defense. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fucking right.
So go ahead. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's just start there because we're already talking about it. Because there's a few things I wasn't able. Zeus did a space earlier this week, pretty much stealing my idea. So shout out to Zeus. But pretty much there were a few awards that like were just too egregious to not talk about. Like
First, before you get into it, I want to just go on the record and say that I don't give a shit about awards. I don't care if they're Meltzers, if they're free. It doesn't matter whose there are. I find them to be complete bullshit. They're subjective at best, but they have been a talking point this week, so we will discuss them. But just for the record,
so,
I could give a fuck
I'm
about
going
them.
to explain. It's not that they matter. It's the source that they're coming from that matters because the Observer, Meltzer specifically, are the master gatekeepers themselves of wrestling. You know what I mean? So like when you're seeing these awards and hearing what the fan base and partially what Dave's pushing out there, because Brian and Dave are acting so shocked that they got these results when they're putting out all. They're the ones pushing out these narratives to these motherfuckers. They're the ones telling them that, like, oh, Mystico's had one of the best years any wrestler ever had, ever. And, like, CMLL is really this up and coming company when AAA has gained interest leaps and bounds. If there's any promotion of the year, it definitely should be AAA. Sorry, CMLL. Like, y'all might be doing good in Mexico, and that's good in Mexico, but AAA starting to draw everywhere, including in the Americas. CMLL, I'm sorry, CMLL is not getting the same type of eyes and interest that AAA has gotten last year. So, and that's not even like one of the bigger egregious ones. The one is I really want to push out because this is the ones that AEW fans are really nailing home and trying to sit here and kowtow and cater to. Danielson winning Best Announcer of the Year and Booker winning Worst. When they basically do the exact same fucking thing on different channels. Like, can we not say anyone who sits here and says Bryan Danielson is a good commentator or Excalibur deserves to be in the top fucking 3 when he is clearly the worst commentator in all of fucking wrestling.
Oh my god, he's the worst. He's horrible.
He is the fucking worst. Like, if it was up to me, I would run Excalibur over with a tractor to get him off the fucking
Well, what does that tell you of commentary this year? It's kind of like at the bottom of the barrel at this point.
No, but you're missing the point, Brandon, what I was about to say. It's that a lot of these people are saying, well, Danielson gives all this insight and context, and he tries to get these guys over. Does Booker T not do the same exact fucking thing?
Yes, but
hold on. Let me finish. They say, well, all Booker T does is show his emotion and scream into the mic. Is that all? Is that not all what fucking Danielson does too?
Excalibur does that.
Exactly, and he got top 3 votership.
So does Shivani. Like, so does Shivani. Like, I mean, isn't JR's is subjective is arguably the greatest of all time. He literally made a living being emotional. Some of the greatest calls were his emotions. So I don't understand why we're saying that emotions is not good for a commentator. I mean, Gordon Soley was a robot, and he's considered one of the greatest as well. So you have like literally 2 ends of the spectrum between him and Jim Ross.
That one I just thought was extremely egregious. Or NXT getting worst show of the year when we have Collision.
But you gotta remember, Collision's a wrestling show. They love the wrestling.
So is NXT. Hold on. That's where I'm gonna pause you and tell you to wait your place because NXT definitely does a shit ton of wrestling too.
I think it has more to do with, well, the men's division being ass. Because let's be honest, the women are pretty much carrying that show on their backs.
Okay, so they have the best women's roster on the fucking planet right now. Or Dave would tell you it's fucking Stardom and all the Joshis, but no, right now NXT has the best set of women roster on the planet right now because all they have is potential. You have star written on every woman on half of that fucking roster. Tatum Paxley, fucking Izzy Dane, Sol Ruka, Zarya, Jordan Grace, and she just went up. You had Roxanne before Roxanne went up. Like Tiffany before Tiffany went up. Look at the women that they have called up over the past year. Look at the positions they're in.
And look at the women that are down there, like who's the current Evolve Women's Champion? I forgot her name.
Kendall Bray, the woman they've been featuring like a motherfucker.
And also the other woman who's part of Fatal Influence. What's her name?
Lady Reed. Also had a career year.
Yes. And
so
also,
like, but I just want to get back to my initial point though, because it's like when it came to these awards specifically this year, it shows the bias of not only Meltzer, but a lot of those journalists who work for The Observer and the narratives that they spin and put out, but yet they're shocked and surprised that a lot of these year-end awards were complete and utter bullshit.
Wait, hold up. Like, I gotta come in defense. I mean, like, didn't WWE won these awards the past 2 years? Like, we can't say that biased when they gave.
I can't say
WWE.
that to see when you have no choice but to obviously say the truth, in or else you're gonna kill all your credibility. I'm not saying that WWE should have won all the awards this year because in reality they should.
No, I was talking about the past 2 years when WWE
because they've
fired.
actually been leaps and bounds better, and you'd be fucking stupid to not realize the fact.
No, I was talking about the past 2 years when WWE
Because they've actually been leaps
Screwed
and
up.
bounds
I did it again. Damn it.
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Sorry. That was my bad.
But I feel like, let's be honest, people love Tony Storm's gimmick like crazy.
Don Callis winning Manager of the Year when Paul Heyman still exists. Even on Paul Heyman's worst year, he was in the main event of WrestleMania. Name one fucking memorable moment from Don Callis' career last year. Don't worry, I'll wait.
And Dick Ryan, Kyle Fletcher.
What you say?
And Dick Ryan, Kyle Fletcher.
That's not a moment.
I mean, wait, what award Kyle Fletcher won?
Kyle, I don't even know if Fletcher won an award this year. He didn't win Most Improved, even though he should have.
I agree. Like, who won Most Improved? I mean,
Harley.
I think it was someone from Stardom.
No, Harley Cameron.
Harley Cameron. There we go.
I
Harley
mean,
Cameron won Most Improved over Kyle Fletcher.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, like, I think that's a little fair. I think
no, it's not. Nowhere near fair. Fletcher had a way better year than Harley did. How many matches did Harley wrestle last year?
Wait, but in defense of that one, it's not. You know, I don't think that Kyle improved. I think he was already that good. But if you look at where, let me put. I think it's where you got to look where Harley started in 2025 to where she ended in her skill set compared to Kyle. Kyle was the same thing. He was awesome the entire year. Harley definitely has improved. I wouldn't argue that one.
I agree. It was either her or I would have. Like, I feel like Most Improved is probably given to the one that actually has improved in their wrestling ability, promos, and character work.
Right. It's improved all around. Not like who got a bigger push or who became a bigger star. That's not improving.
Agreed.
That's just getting you an opportunity.
Agreed. And I do think Harley does deserve that award. I think it was the fair one. I don't know who you give it outside of her. It's kind of hard. I don't know who else improved.
Like one of the awards I didn't disagree with. WWE should have gotten Worst Promotion of the Year because of the drastic downfall I had creatively, and how much they killed their interest. Again, they ran it back at Las Vegas because they thought it was going to be easy to sell those tickets at the same rate they did last year. And look at those ticket sales right now. Even though someone made the point out earlier this week, and I am going to say this point because it is a good point, that a lot of people do tend to wait till closer to showtime to start buying their tickets in bulk because they're going to be way cheaper and they're going to be doing sales to try to get people in the building. But I don't think they're going to be able to pull off the $60K they pulled last year.
I agree. At best, they'll probably get at least maybe 55, 57 at best. Like I said,
it just depends on the diminishing returns, though, as well, Brandon, because it's kind of like it's going to be kind of the same thing when it comes to All In this year. If All In doesn't sell above 40K this year, I think it's a relative failure.
Look, I would say this. I feel like when it comes to All In, going back to Wimmy, I feel like 2K should take a break from it and do All In the States and maybe come back maybe.
They take a break. He didn't go last year.
Yes, but I'm talking about more than a longer break. Like, you don't want to keep going back there every year because the more you go back to London, people are going to get tired. They're going to the viewers. I say take like at least at best 5, maybe 6 years off of Wembley and then come back.
I mean, DJ, they did go to London last year for I think was it Forbidden Door?
Yes.
Yeah, but it was the O2, not Wembley.
It's still the same. It's still the same fan base. Whether it doesn't matter the building.
No, but at the O2 they definitely filled out a lot more. They were a lot closer to capacity, and they were able to get more people in the building for the O2. I'm saying in terms of Wembley, like in order to, because there's going to be diminishing returns no matter what. That you always have to assume that with any kind of product, especially an entertainment product. But what I'm saying is, if they go drastically beyond the rate of their diminishing returns already, I think that's going to be a problem for them. And it's the same thing with WWE right now. I wasn't trying to make the point to go after AEW. I was making the point to try to say WWE this year and Triple H and Nick Khan realized that they have an interest problem now. They're not going to be hot no more. Even though their boom period should have lasted definitely another year and a half longer than it did.
I think if ticket prices weren't so high, you would still have that interest level. To be honest with you.
To a certain degree,
Okay,
but
wait, Brandon, we're gonna have to.
Brandon, you gotta wait your turn.
Yeah, we got a lot of hands up. We're gonna have to do hands because we can't have everyone talking over each other. So, DJ, once you finish your thought out, you can call out. I think Herm was first, but go ahead with your thought.
Yeah, I saw Herm. But like, I'm saying in terms of the reason WWE's pricing so high is because TKO's having the business model of we're Disney. We're not selling you the product itself. We're selling you the experience of the product. You come into WrestleMania as a once in a lifetime event, or you come into one of these PLEs, or even they're trying to do it with the regular shows too, to where they're selling you more on the experience and more that this is a once in a lifetime thing you're going to see, and you're never going to see anything like this again until we come again next year. So it's kind of like they're doing the Disney approach when it comes to trying to build and cater to their fans of we're giving you this once in a lifetime experience, and that's why they're costing it so high. It's the same way with Disney. You go there for 2 days, you're paying $500 a day if you're bringing family members. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's what WWE is doing in terms of their pricing in the market. It's just their creative has not backed it up to keep it as interesting. At least Disney, they switch it up every season. They switch it up every year. You're not going to go in and see the same shit all the fucking time. Disney knows that they have to keep interest. But yeah, Herm, go ahead. I see your hand first.
Okay, here I am. Yeah, again, I just wanted to, you guys are talking about those year-end awards. The one that I definitely had a problem with was they said that NXT was the worst show. Far from it. To be honest with you, I think NXT's probably been the better show out of anything that's been on TV recently. And the thing about WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken, they take bids for that. And I guess Vegas ponied up more money the second time around to have it. And of course, we know what Saudi Mania is going to look like. We know the kind of cash explosion that's going to be. But, get the cash while you can, because there's going to be a time where it's not going to be there. And the thing about AEW and All In, if they put it in the United States, like, it was said, like, I think the one they had in Arlington did about, what, 20K? Something like that. I mean, the thing is, with England, they're so starved over there and depraved of any kind of wrestling that, yeah, you're going to get 40,000 or so that come out for it. And that's all I got.
Yeah, they got about. I think they got turnstile of 21K in Arlington, and you're right. No matter where you go in the U.S., it's so saturated that you're not gonna. It's not gonna be that on demand of a ticket. Whereas, as Herm was pointing out, you go to England, they're there once, twice a year. So you put WWE there, they're gonna do the same thing if you put them in, because they're just so starved for that live wrestling. Let's go to, I guess, TriStar. You're out.
Thanks. Earlier when you brought me up, for some reason the app crashed. Come on, Elon, fix your shit. Anyways, so when it comes to, like you said about NXT apparently winning the worst promotion, no, not even close. I mean, I would say probably the best promotion if you look at a pure booking. I'd maybe say the NXT or maybe AAA. I mean, TNA is definitely up there too, but
I would personally TriStar say TNA, only for the fact that TNA, with their booking and creative storylines, especially with the crossover from NXT, got themselves a TV deal. Again, how many people thought TNA would not be wrestling purgatory by the end of at the beginning of last year? You know what I mean? So
well, I mean, I think people are shocked that TNA still exists. They're like the cockroach of professional wrestling promotions. Like, you, they've had everything done to them. They've had the roster completely gutted. They've had just everything happen, and it's like you just can't kill them. And I expect a lot of big things. My prediction was for 2026. I said I think that they will run and sell out a 10,000 seat venue somewhere. I don't know where, but I think they'll at least try it, and most likely will sell out. I think WWE will dress that up heavily. They might have, Cody Rhodes pop in or somebody, a big name. Haven't really paid attention to anything what's going on in Japan or in Europe. I don't know what's going on over there. Seems like that bloom came off the rose with New Japan 10 years ago. So who was all the award winners? Smart me up to that real quick.
we're not going through the whole fucking list because we'll be here all day. The entire show will be dedicated to the fucking list. But the few I talked about was Danielson won Commentator of the Year, while Booker T won the Worst Commentator of the Year. While again, Excalibur fucking exists.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do people not know the history with Excalibur?
But yeah, and Dynamite won, or not Dynamite? Yeah, no, I think Dynamite won Show of the Year.
Oh, good lord.
CMLL won.
How do I watch paint dry?
It was a bunch of shit.
And was this the Wrestling Observer Awards?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, that tells me everything I need to know. Everything's gonna be AEW centric, and AEW is God's gift of creation, and everything else is Satan and the devil. So keep in mind, this is the same guy that what was it here recently? Got some story fucked up about Powerhouse Hobbs or whatever.
It was Dave, and it wasn't no story fucked up. It was apparently there was a mix-up on his age, and no one knew his real age or some shit. I don't fucking know. Apparently,
Who
Hobbs is 41.
gives a shit? Who cares?
Well, the thing about that story, it's just that it's funny that Dave never mentioned Hobbs' age when he was in AEW for 6 years, or that the age was wrong. But then, like a week after he's with WWE, suddenly he's bumped up 5 years in age. And it's not so much about the age; it's more about just Dave and his quote journalistic integrity unquote. I think more than it is
He
about.
doesn't have any left.
Yeah.
I mean, that journalistic integrity left out years ago. I mean, it's clear he's just the guy that's trying to push up AEW, and anything that they do, they can do no wrong. I mean, and to him, Kenny Omega's the greatest wrestler to ever live. I mean.
And then he went on.
Wow.
And then he went.
Damn, I was gonna pat Aaron. If you still wanted to speak, I was gonna give you the mic next. If you wanted a second, I was literally gonna come right to you after TriStar, just so you know.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was taking up too much time.
Oh no, Aaron dropped down as a listener. So, but I also have some breaking funny news that I have to talk about because this is fucking hilarious. Shout out to Ropes, the greatest fucking co-host ever. Should I break the news to you, Brandon? Because I
break it.
That was kind of
this
rude.
is gonna be fucking hilarious.
But that was rude.
Just hear it, okay? It's kind of rude, but listen, you're gonna enjoy this. So, Hanovich DM'd Ropes, apparently tight in his feelings about DJ talking about him. And Aaron, I'm gonna bring you up. All right, I'm bringing you up, but I was doing this to kill time while you were coming up. So, and I'm gonna read you the said message because this is. Not only lies, he tried to sit here and lie to Ropes, like Ropes don't see everything that fucking goes on, like Ropes don't know. So let's this is on February 4th, okay? Morning, Ropes. Hope you're well. You were disappointed in me, and I get it. However, I said I would not engage with DJ after the space he did about me back in November, and I kept my word since. You lying fat piece of shit. No, you haven't. You've ran your mouth about me multiple times since November.
You lying motherfucker. You literally tweeted to Sean Ross Sapp about my space he shared because he shared a space about me to Leo, and you had to try to run your fucking mouth about me for no fucking reason. So there's lie number one, you fat piece of shit. Then he said, I saw the screenshot he took to reframe a conversation I was having yesterday. I've also seen that many times he's retweeted other people arguing with me or calling me Hannah bitch. Of course. Duh. You keep running your mouth about me, of course I'm going to keep sharing everybody who makes you look fucking stupid. So let's continue to paragraph number 2. Because I've tried to respect and move on, I decided not to respond last night despite the urge. While you are keeping out of things, you can't control other people's actions. I'm not annoyed with you. I would, however, appreciate it if you could remind him and ask him to take it down. No apology, no other reference. I want this over and kept my word on that. You lying fake victim motherfucker, you. First off.
Good Lord.
Hold on. First off, and thank you, Ropes, for sending me that. Because the fuck is wrong with you, you lying sack of shit? Trying to turn my co-host and one of my best friends against me because we were ethering you on the internet. For saying it's a gray area for someone to get a 16-year-old drunk for the sole purpose of having sex with her and then having a guy post a picture which said weirdo pedophile. And on top of that, Ropes don't fucking like you. I'll say it for the both of us. He don't like your bitch ass. Random sicko soapbox. I'm sorry, Brandon, for taking this over, but this shit pissed me off, you lying fuck. You haven't tried to engage with me since November. You run your mouth about me and go bitty, but then when I respond, I'm the fucking bad guy, and you gotta try to play victim. Again, everybody's seen what you are. You're exposed. Again, the only time you can get attention is when people are making fun of you like how I am right now. So please, again, I know you're going to listen to this because you listen to every fucking thing me and Brandon say or do. Enjoy. Because guess what? Ropes ain't your friend. He don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your friend. So go cry, bitch, about it and blah, blah, blah. And leave us the fuck alone. And again, thank you for letting that be known, Ropes. Aaron, whenever you're ready, I'm giving you the mic. You got the floor. I'm waiting for him to come up. Brandon, what's your thoughts while we're waiting for Aaron?
Well, Aaron just messaged in the chat that he's got to go to work, so I don't think he's going to join us.
Well, I apologize.
Can I get off real quick? Just real quick. I'm booking it now at the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Is Deejay versus Hannibal in a Texas death match.
Don't do that. It'll look like a fucking mass transit incident.
As far as my thoughts, I have none. He always plays victim. I've muted him. I've muted Slick. I haven't engaged with or talked to them since last show we did on Super Bowl Saturday. So, you know, it's not in this, and that DM was prior to our last show. So yeah, he's playing victim like always.
I just thought it was funny that he tried to sit here and lie to Ropes. And like I said, Ropes said to me, because he's like, you see what this lying sack of shit sent me? Like, fuck you. I'm going to expose you, you fat fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's a private DM or not. Don't DM my co-host talking shit about me and lying on my name, saying I'm the one who's antagonizing you and fucking with you. Don't lie on me so you can get some fucking sympathy. But, all right, no more. Back to wrestling.
All right. The last Meltzer award that really needs to be addressed is the one with Brock Lesnar as being the worst. Oh, I'm losing my thought here.
The worst promotional tactic was bringing Brock back in a year where Roger Jackson tried to kill a motherfucker.
And I'm sorry, I actually replied to Sean Ross Sapp because he was backing up that claim. He didn't respond to me, and I wasn't attacking him. I was very, with respect to him, but he didn't respond to that. It's funny how I'll get quote tweeted when it's going back and forth, but when there's an actual, nice dialogue, I don't hear from him. But I, to even say that the Raja Jackson thing was not the most egregious thing of a promotion, and I'm not even talking about Rikishi's promotion because obviously they didn't know what was going on, but there was another promotion in California that actually booked Raja after the incident. And even if they were doing it simply for, the clicks and the interest and we're never going to have him on the show, they still took advantage of the notoriety. So that would be the most, the worst promotional tactic. How anyone could vote that, and then Saudi. WWE's been going to Saudi for 8 years. How is that, a promotional tactic? That's, at this point, it's just par for the course. Like, this Raja Jackson thing, I think, was voted like 4th or 5th. Right above Joey Janela with Sabu. And we know how that.
Too, a year where Joey Janela drugged up Sabu so he could wrestle his last match.
And then he died 2 weeks later.
Like,
and
again,
what is it?
WWE bringing back Brock Lesnar, who the thing he's worthily implicated in was getting unsolicited piss videos. That's it.
And you know what the thing that blows my mind? Is that Joey Janela is doing the same exact thing with the Sandman. He has booked the Sandman in the Sandman's last match. It's literally redoing what he did with Sabu last year.
No, like I said, the only I agree with you, Brandon, that these awards don't mean shit. But when the people behind the awards have some amount of credibility in terms of their knowledge of wrestling and the way they gatekeep, and to be as egregious as they were this year was fucking ridiculous. Like, that's my only point. Like, don't sit here and try to sit here and bitch tribalism when they're the ones sowing the most dissension. You know what I mean?
And it's the people that, I mean, these are reader voted. So, they're still the people who are stupid enough to pay Meltzer $14.99 a month for his newsletter. So that shows you the intelligence level of the people that are actually, voting on these awards. And then, what's funny? If you look at them and you look at the votes for like the different categories, they're not even amounts. Like one had like 1,000 votes, the other had like 3,000. Another one had like 3,000 votes. So you got guys that aren't even like voting on every category. These readers, they're picking and choosing. So but it got Meltzer out of the weeds for the bullshit he wrote that WBD pulled Brody off of Dynamite, and then WBD was like, yeah, that's not true, and of course he had nothing to say. So let's release the awards so we could change the topic.
Speaking of changing the topic, great segue, DJ. I was waiting for it. Let's get to Grand Slam. Let's get on to the.
Well, wait, before we do, Brandon Ace had his hand up. Let's see if he's got something to say before we move on to the next.
Go ahead, other Brandon.
3.
Brandon going once.
2. 1.
Brandon going twice. Fuck that. We're going to DJ segue now.
Grand Slam.
Grand Slam happened yesterday morning. It aired last night, but it happened yesterday morning, so there were already a lot of spoilers before the show even came on.
I did not watch it because it was Valentine's Day and I have a life. So
I watched everything the morning after. So plus I pulled it all nighter last night.
Look at it. We changed the topic to AEW and who shall appear.
Nick. That's hilarious.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Mr. Nick.
But so they had some good things on the show, but they also had some shit that, they had shit I just wasn't interested in.
I mean, it's fair to say that it was predictable.
And I was gonna say it was also highly predictable with a lot of the shit they did. It kind of irritated me that they didn't debut the inspiration instead of they didn't Lena Cross instead of the inspiration, which was kind of mind-boggling to me. Why wouldn't you debut them in their home country? You know, in front of the most eyes you probably got on a Collision show
No, instead they did it the next day at a house show.
at a house show when AEW rarely even does house shows in the first fucking place. So, I mean, I'm glad that the inspiration is there. It bolsters their tag division, even though I don't even think they should have a tag division. But that's neither here or there. Um, I think Hangman and Andrade accomplished what it needed. It accomplished. It was the perfect match for that show. Um, I think the mixed intergender tag match was fucking atrocious. That was possibly to me the worst match of the night. Fletcher and Briscoe was better than I thought, or at least it was better than I thought it was going to be going into it. Now, whoever told them they can do the fucking brainbuster off the top of the ladder, maybe don't do that again. Especially with Kyle Fletcher's history of dropping people flat on their fucking heads. But solid match. Again, I think this show definitely accomplished what it needed to accomplish. It wasn't how can I say it? It wasn't the worst, but it also wasn't the best. It was middle of the ground, perfect thing for AEW to build on. And if we're doing anything for going into the future, let's decide if the Death Riders are baby faces or heels. Yeah, those are my thoughts. What did you see based on the clips you saw, if you've seen any?
I just saw, the usual stuff. We knew what was going to happen. We knew the chants that were going to be there. Were not muted. I think that's a very slippery slope. Everything was predictable. I was actually shocked that they didn't do a title switch for those tag titles. I really thought they were going to finally put them on Megan, but I think TK has a thing that he likes guys winning in their hometown. I feel like if it was WWE, Harley would have lost and got pinned. But it just baffles the way they've booked Megan just baffles me. It's like
I've just stopped giving a shit about her at this point.
And now you have another, threesome of a group in the women's division. So, I don't think the inspiration is needed. You have so many women who are not getting TV time in that company as it is. And
now I do have to add real quick, I do like a threesome of women. I just wanted to say.
And I just feel that they're not in the skill level to be in AEW, if that makes sense, because
because they're not in ring. They're not in ring generals.
Exactly.
They're purely personalities, and they're there to be personalities.
And that's not something that is AEW. And notice with Harley, they've dialed back on her character more for her in-ring ability. She used to be kind of like R-Truth. She came out, she did a bit, and you laughed. And now now she's a serious competitor, more or less. She'll have her little moments, when she's doing a promo, but for the most part, all the joking around is done. So, what exactly is the inspiration going to do? Like, honestly,
I mean, they are an established tag team. They need tag teams because, well,
do they? Wait, time out. Do they though? Everyone who's not, even Tony Storm is in the tag division. Everyone is literally in a tag team.
But that's the problem. You can't build an entire division of we're gonna have two random singles women as a tag team. That don't work.
But Brandon, that's basically what they've done. They've gutted,
and
they've gutted
and
not
that's
only the mid card division, but a lot of their main title scene right now to cater to the tag division. Jamie Hayter's a tag person. Megan's a tag person. Tony's now a tag person. Mina's a tag person. These are all viable people who can be challenging Willow Truesdale for that title.
well now bringing in the inspiration maybe will free up one of these women to go after one of the singles titles. Like, and also if you think about it, maybe AEW was the only place they can go to because it doesn't look like WWE want them. Because if WWE didn't want them, because let's be honest, WWE could have easily brought them back if they wanted to, but it don't seem like they didn't want them. So AEW was their only shot to get like the big money at this point.
No, I think the writing was on the wall when they did the job the first night of TNA's
I agree.
Impact. You pretty much knew they were going to AEW because why drop the belts if you're going back to WWE?
Yeah, that's also true. Because let's be honest, maybe they wanted, maybe WWE, like I said, WWE probably wasn't interested in them, and they're like, now what? Let's see what AEW's done, and they're making good money. I'm just happy. Like, I'm happy for the wrestlers having options, and they're gonna get paid, and they're finally on TV again. I'm willing to give them a chance. I ain't like most AEW fans losing their minds. I'm like, let's see what they can do. They are an established tag team, and this maybe they'll help the tag division because I think the only established tag team is the Sisters of Sin, and now you bringing in the inspiration of a fairly well-known established tag team. We don't know what's gonna happen. Hell, maybe they might be able to show what they can do to be very good wrestlers or decent ones.
Well, do you think it was a mistake debuting him on a house show instead of on Collision itself or Grand Slam?
Personally, I don't care because it is what it is. I mean, these are the same people that were crashing out about Royce Keys debuting on main event, and it's like
But the
not
thing
that deep.
he wasn't on main event. That was actually a dark match. It wasn't even main event.
Yes. Well, regardless, like again, I don't think it should be taken seriously. At least AEW was smart enough to announce it on their Twitter page, so that's smart. I don't think it's that deep. Chances are they probably will make their debut on Collision, which is basically probably their only show that gives women the most time on there, if you kind of notice.
Nick, are you with us? Let's get your opinion on the inspiration and Grand Slam.
Yo! No, I actually thought Grand Slam was a good show. Don't lie. It flowed nicely. And then you guys forgot we did get our Statlander Tekla promo. So we got that too. Overall, it was a good show. I liked it. I actually enjoyed it. And I mean, the Iconics. Gotta kind of wait and see. I mean, yeah. Listen, them debuting on a house show, it created buzz. It generated that buzz, right? Because everybody was talking about it. I give them 8 matches, personally, to see what they can do. I mean, they're either sinking or swimming, and that's pretty much it.
DJ?
Yeah, I'm here. My bad. So Nick, let me ask you, what do you think was the best match or segment, and what do you think was the worst? I have to at least ask you that.
Best match, I think. Honestly, I know you fucking hated it. I really like Fletcher versus Briscoe.
I didn't hate it. I said it was actually one of the better matches. The match I hated was Pockets and Tony Storm versus Marina and Yuta.
I don't mind that because if you saw they won. If you saw what happened, if you saw what happened at the end of that match,
Fuck you!
I know I just stole her pizza. If you saw the end of that match, right, as Wheeler was leaving, who stopped him? Mox, right? So could we see that play into Revolution? Because you know they're running back Mox versus Takeshi at Revolution. Now, does that ending play a factor in it, and maybe that's when we get the Death Rider turn, right? So I didn't mind. I really liked. I didn't mind that. I think the one thing that I could have done without was the Hangman going to the corner and he was shooting. He was like, "I'm married." But other than that, and that's minuscule. I thought the show flowed really well. Yeah, I was good with it.
Yeah, no. What I said, Nick, was it wasn't the worst AEW. It wasn't like most collisions. It definitely built upon a lot. Again, the one thing I don't like is just Tony Storm and Pockets and the Death Riders. Because are they heel? Are they baby faces? Are they kind of heels? Are they kind of baby faces? Do we all just hate Yuta and like everyone else? Just establish something with the Death Riders.
Well, we did though. We really established. Honestly, we did though. We established that Mox is the babyface.
I'm saying the group as a whole.
Oh,
they've been back and forth and wishy-washy for the past few months, at least in my opinion.
They have. They've been definitely. You don't know which way they're going, but that's what I'm saying. I think after last night, it's apparent that John is the babyface and the rest of them are the heels.
No, because the only thing I've established is just everyone hates you. The only thing that was established to me yesterday was everyone hates Yuta.
Well, that too.
Like that to me was more established than Moxley, because Moxley didn't really do anything babyfacious. He kept to his natural gimmick of, well, I have honor. So it's like it didn't really establish him as a babyface or a heel. It was more of a Moxley type thing to me.
But Yuta could have won, and that was it. But John forced him to come back. Right? He's like, no, you honor your shit. You lost. Go honor your fucking bet.
And honestly, if Yuta wants to be a generational heel, just keep the bald spot up top and have the long sides. Do the Paul Heyman look. I'm just so with it.
But yeah, no, I honestly, dude, I honestly liked what I saw last. And like I said, hopefully they came out of this with intrigue. And that's really all we could ask for.
For certain things, yes, I do agree. Like I said, there's certain stuff on that show where it's just like, do we really give a shit? But we'll see. Like I said, I'm glad Mark Briscoe and Fletcher's finally over. Let's hope they never have a match ever again with each other.
I can see Tony running back Ciampa versus Fletcher at the pay-per-view.
I can see. I think I see a multi-man match. I don't see it being just one way.
Well, Mark Briscoe better not be involved. It's over. He lost the 7-game series. I don't want to see his face in it anymore.
I agree respectfully.
Yeah, there was that. You know, we're getting Takeshita Moxley too at Revolution, so that's coming. Remember how I said Tekla and Sat? From that promo that they did yesterday, I don't think they're done with each other.
No, they're not, but they're definitely not main eventing the pay-per-view like you fucking thought they were.
Who knows? You got 6 weeks.
I'm still strongly disagreeing with you on that one.
There's 3 weeks, and it's definitely Hangman against MJF.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I don't know. It's definitely they've definitely built intrigue to the pay-per-view. This was a nice stop on the way. So,
all right. Real quick, let's go to Enrique. He has his hand up, and then if anyone else has any final thoughts on Grand Slam, we'll just raise your hand and we'll go to you. Enrique, you there?
Yeah, thank you. It's because, first of all, I do think John Moxley will make his face turn. I think that is being teased, and I think that the Death Riders will betray him. And we all know that or at least in my opinion, he's better as a babyface than as a heel. They say this because of his work in 2020, in 2021, in 2019 when he first came to AEW. Uh, Secondly, I do not think, with all due respect, that the women will main event pay-per-view in AEW. I think that MJF versus Hangman Adam Page or any men's world title match will have priority. Um, Even after that, I think that MJF will retain. I don't know who will he feud with, but even if they are not in a pay per view, they will give they will probably give the spotlight to someone else, maybe even Omega versus Strickland. So yeah.
All right.
I disagree about one thing. I don't think that Death Riders are going to turn on him. There's been literally nothing to incline that they would just turn. In fact, most of them have been embracing being more babyface. We saw it on that 6-man tag this past Dynamite. They were definitely working, Pac and Cesaro, Claudio were definitely working babyface.
No, and that was the point I was making to Nick earlier. Like in terms of can we just decide what they are so we can? I'm willing to go along with the story, even though let's be honest, I'm not. But let's say I'm willing to play along with the story for the fuck of it, for continuity's sake. At least establish them of what they are. If they're gonna be heels and turn on Moxley, have them be more heelish. Don't have them come out be babyface and then. It just makes no sense doing the back and forth type thing. They did that with Tony a while back when before they fully turned her babyface, they were doing I think it was the her and Serena Deeb feud where they were going back and forth on Tony being the babyface one week and then the next week she's being the heel. So like, if they just established, I like I said, I just want them to establish that. But I agree with Nick that it was better than most AEW shows, and it did progress a lot of things. Where that's a big problem we tend to have with AEW. But since nobody else wants to go in on AEW, let's go in on No Surrender.
Well, before I have one more thing about AEW I want to bring up, and then we can move on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say the No Surrender review is probably going to mainly be just me.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it, but I tweeted something earlier, and there was a video up from the house show where all the Australian wrestlers were doing this dance that apparently is like a big dance in Australia. And, a lot of people were like crapping on it with the typical, tribalistic, oh, I thought they're real wrestling, they're not sports entertainment, all this stuff. I have an issue with it because it's a house show. You're supposed to have fun at house shows. How many videos have we seen over the years from WWE where they were not serious and having fun at house shows? Like, why are we using this as the hill we're dying on to, like, shit on something AEW is doing? Of all the things that they do, between booking and dangerous spots and everything, we're going to shit on them for ending a house show by doing a dance. Like we're getting to a point that, let's pick the hill we're dying on. Did you see the video I'm talking about, DJ?
No.
Let me put this on the board so you can look at the tweet.
Wait, so they were like
it was at the very end of the night. Like as matches were over, all that stuff. Here, I just put the tweet up on the big board.
You got to realize that they look at AEW as serious wrestling.
But that's AEW's fault.
No, I kind of agree a little bit with Brandon because when they did
Which
the
wait,
whole,
which
when
brand?
Drew lost,
Which
in,
Brandon?
uh, I agree with you. My bad. I forget. But like, because when they did the one show, I know it doesn't mean it's not a house show and it's kind of not the same thing. But when they did the match a few years ago when Drew lost to Roman, and then after Tyson Fury and Drew just came out doing that singing thing with the crowd to try to save some face, they got killed for that, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Because I was hokey, corny, and that didn't help the situation. I think the thing with AEW and the house show is slightly different, just because, like you said, it's a different, more funner atmosphere for the fans. So, like, I don't see, and AEW fans, as much as they claim to take wrestling more seriously, they fucking don't. So they're there to have fun. They're there to be entertained. They're there to go ooh ah and laugh with the wrestlers. So
And
that's
how many times are they in Australia? Once a year. They go to Australia once a year. This isn't like they just started doing a dance at the end of, a show in Georgia or Chicago.
I was gonna say it's not like they did it in Chicago, yeah.
And even if it was a house show and they did something stupid, again, over the years, how many times have we seen videos of WWE doing stupid shit, even after a Monday Night Raw? After the cameras went off the air. I mean, they did a whole thing with trying to break the Undertaker with all the spinneroonies and stuff like that. So I just think this is not like the hill to die on for like trying to shit on AEW for. It's gotten to a point. And so also on the record, if anyone ever says I never defend AEW, it's right there. But on that note, let's.
My bad. I had to do something. DJ's cooking dinner, so I'm multitasking.
Yeah, throw that hot pocket in. I heard the microwave.
It's my oven, bitch. I'm making garlic bread. Fuck you. Okay. But no, so TNA No Surrender also happened Saturday. I don't know if it was directly going head to head against Collision, or not Saturday, Friday. So I'm sorry. I don't know if it went head to head with SmackDown, which kind of would have fucked up some of the interest behind it. But I think the show, how can I say it? It wasn't one of TNA's best shows. I feel like TNA definitely needs to improve on a few things. They did do a few things to help accomplish and establish a few guys on the roster. Like Trey Miguel winning the international title, I thought was a phenomenal decision. They need to push that guy, especially with all the fan and buzzfare with AEW dropping him in WBD, putting the hammer down on him. And TNA pretty much showing, well, he is marketable. We can build off this guy. People can change. And I thought it was a solid match. I think Steve Macklin now going after Santana for the world title is something new and interesting. And that's what TNA needs to do, is keep doing new, interesting things that this fan base haven't seen before so they can keep building on it. I think Ariana Grace winning the Knockouts world title was a fucking choice.
But I said this in defense of that, she's been doing more storylines with TNA than in NXT.
No, I agree. She's been doing a lot of stuff with her dad in TNA.
So I didn't see it as far as the wrestler, the character winning a TNA title. I didn't see a problem with it. I understand people were like, well, she's not a serious wrestler. She's a comedy. She's a joke. She sucks. She's a jobber. All this stuff. And it was, they lost one TNA wrestler lost the title, so they had to put one right on top of another NXT wrestler. But again, to me, it's not the same thing because she's been doing more with TNA than she was doing in NXT. She's only now starting to get into a storyline in NXT, and that's coming from the TNA stuff. Because that Birthright group is literally the group that attacked everyone in TNA, right?
So here's my issue about it, and at least hear me out on this. I think we need more TNA talent establishing themselves in NXT and winning NXT titles to try to establish that brand and the characters they have more, then let's try to keep building NXT talent via TNA. You know what I mean? How many people have won TNA belts compared to WWE winning, NXT style belts? The only people who've won an NXT title or WWE quote NXT title throughout this entire relationship was the fucking Hardys, and I don't think that counts.
Why? Because they're legends of WWE?
Yes. If there was going to be anybody they allowed to just win the tag belts out of nowhere, it would be the Hardys. Like, if they did it to actually establish a team instead of a team that's already well established and ain't going to get any more established, that's the problem I have with it. And in terms, I don't think whoever beats Ariana for the belt, she isn't going to get them more over. Like, I don't think she's going to get that division more over in any way, shape, or form. Like, again, I'm happy for the moment. I'm happy for her and Santino. And you're right in terms of out of all the people who crossed over from NXT to TNA, she's more featured and more used than most on TNA. But I just think there's too many women in that division who would be a better face right now for TNA while you're trying to build interest and gain intrigue. Either put the belt on Tessa, put the belt back on Ash by Elegance, get it on Cora Jade, or Elena Black, I'm sorry. But
Joey Stripe, the number one contender.
I don't think she's well established in the TNA realm yet. I'm just what TNA is in a period right now where they need to keep the interest that they have. Like they've been doing a great job. They've been increasing their ratings every week. A lot of their shows and are going up in terms of the attendance. There's not drastic increases, but they are going up a couple hundred, people per show when they're doing these shows. So you got to think of, if you're going to establish this knockout division to be like the knockouts between 07 and 09 when they were really, really, really good. And I do believe they have the talent there. Zaya Brookside is still a viable talent as well. What's her name? Who used to be in WWE?
Indy Hartwell?
No, who used to be... They have Indy too, but she used to be Zaya... What's Zaya Lee's new name again?
Yeah, she just lost.
Lady Lee,
Yeah,
the former champion.
She just lost. That's the one who Ariana beat.
Yep. No, I'm saying they have her, I don't think Ariana should have beat her, but, like I said, it's... Especially with the storyline going into it that Daria didn't even want Ariana in the match. She thought it was a Nepo thing type deal for Ariana to even have the match. And now she's kind of behind the idea. So...
They got Tessa there too.
Oh, I said Tessa. If it was up to me, Tessa would be champion right now. There's no one who has more heat in that company than Tessa. And she would be the perfect heel to try to get women on that roster over.
I think the problem is, who do you legitimately have beating her if you put the title on Tessa? There's no one on her level right now in the Knockouts division. That's the problem,
No, I agree. It's kind of the Charlotte Flair argument to a smaller extent. So,
and where the hell's
Rosemary? What you mean?
And where's Rosemary? I haven't seen her in forever. She's still there. It's another veteran you have who should be on TV. They've fallen off for the last couple of years with her as a character. So,
last I've seen Rosemary, she was battling Zaya Brookside, and then she's been MIA.
So yeah, that's just, there's a lot of rebuilding for TNA, and it's going to take time. But I'm glad that they're doing the thing they're doing with Macklin. It gives more credibility to Santana's title run. It gives Macklin something better. To me, he never, babyface Macklin never really struck. Some guys are just better as a heel. But, I like how, we had the tweets about, Macklin versus whoever in AEW because everyone just assumed when he was quote unquote fired he was leaving TNA. Meanwhile, the entire time it was a work and just part of the storyline. So
All right, I'm gonna let you pick the next topic because I'm just finishing the last little bit of my dinner real quick. So I'm gonna let you take over, Brandon, for a second.
well, actually, I saw that they announced today that MJF is going to be facing Zilla Fatu this Friday at House of Glory, and MJF is putting the AEW title on the line. So he cut a promo, pretty much ripping Zilla as a nepo. That he when he's done with him, Rikishi's going to be crying on his podcast for him. They're going to be eating for him. He's not going to be able to eat anymore. So, I'll ask Nick. I don't know if Nick is still on here, but, what do you feel about, MJF going outside of AEW and even putting the AEW title on the line on these smaller promotions?
I mean, I think it does help in terms of giving AEW more name recognition and notoriety with the indie crowd. I don't like it only for the simple fact that we know Zilla ain't got no chance of winning that. We know Tony ain't gonna let no schlub off the street win his fucking belt. So, if Tony established that first, say you have a Ricochet get beat for the national title out of nowhere, and have some indie guy, walk around for like 2 or 3 weeks with that belt, then start having MJF defend the world title, because then you'll still have that. You'd be able to have that intrigue and the thought of, is Zilla gonna beat MJF for the title? And it would get more eyes on said match and said promotion, and you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Because you guys have the small or nothing title, you know, change hands. It's almost like kind of like the the NXT and TNA argument. You know, no one's believing that anyone's winning any of these NXT titles in TNA because there's no baseline for it. So it's almost like the same thing in that, right? Am I reading you right with that?
My bad, I was muted, but yeah, no, I agree.
All right, Nick, what do you feel about MJF defending the title at a House of Glory show against Zilla Fatu?
I mean, I don't mind it. Yeah, he's not going to win. But I think you're doing it to get eyes and buzz, right? You never see, and I know it, can't compare the two because they're in different stratospheres. But I mean, you're not going to see Drew McIntyre doing that. Not going to see CM Punk doing that. So for him to do it, getting more eyes, more buzz on the product. And I mean, I think Tony has immense amount of respect for Hog and Master P. And maybe it's a hey, I'll have my world champion come on your show. I'll have this person come on your show. And if you guys have talent that you're like, hey, take a look at this talent. They did a tryout kind of thing, right? Probably you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And I mean, a lot of talent that are in AEW have called Hog home, right? Private Party, I think, came from Hog. Like, a lot of talent has come from Master P and Amazing Red. So why not? Fuck it.
I do find it funny that MJF would never wrestle when Dark was a thing, but now he'll go to independent promotions to do matches. But I also think you also got to be careful because you have your world champion wrestling in these other promotions. Shit could happen, and then what if God forbid MJF gets injured? Then you're really out the paddle without a creek with your whole storylines in your world champion. So
yeah, no, I agree with that point. I was gonna bring that up after too. Like, It does. It
Yeah, you're
tells
right.
you with the style AEW guys wrestle and how hard they go. Even though MJF is a lot smarter than most, there is that risk that you can lose now. Like you're still putting at risk your main event for Revolution to try to appease the indie fan base.
More than
So I
just
do
that,
agree
if
with that.
if MJF pulls a quad or like something could be so stupid. I mean, how many times have we seen? Look what happened to Jake something, a simple move and he tore his bicep. Penta was doing a simple hurricanrana and he freaking fucked his shoulder up. Same thing with Dom Mysterio. He's been out for 6 weeks because of a simple bump with the shoulder. I mean, Liv Morgan got injured with a simple bump. So it's not like MJF has to do something dangerous to like, God forbid something happened. It could be something so simple, and just something so dumb, and you could lose MJF for 9 months, and he's really all you got right now. So it's a slippery slope with that, especially when you could put like lower card guys in the same spot, and you could have them challenging for the Hog title if you want to really have like a crossover. So
Well, let's talk about the biggest story. There's a story even bigger than MJF and Zilla facing off. The fact that JD won't be the one calling the match. Let me stop.
he did retweet it, and he did put like a thinking emoji on it. So
I was just being the smart ass. But I'm trying to think what else. Oh, all right. Listen, since we're done with TNA, we got that quickly out the way. Since I'm the only one who watches the fucking show.
well, I'm sorry, I don't have TNA Plus, so I did not watch a show that
It's
was on
$10
TNA.
a month. If you pay for Twitter, you can pay for TNA Plus.
Hey, don't hate. It's 2026. Calling someone out with a blue check mark doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, both you and Nick are about to start making me fucking financially reconsider my options. Because I always told myself I'm gonna wait till I get the 1K followers, but everyone's starting to get blue check marks and DJ's left the fuck out.
I mean, it helps. I honestly, I don't make money off of Twitter. I do it for two reasons. I talk a lot, and my ideas are not limited to 2 sentences, so my tweets need to be longer, as well as my replies, especially when I'm going back and forth with people. And two, sometimes I type so fast I forget things, so I like to edit my shit. So,
And I really haven't, just because tweeting out the promotions and stuff for SRS, right? So.
But let's get to the WWE side of things. We haven't talked about them much yet today. So first thing I want to bring up on the WWE docket, that apparently reports come out from Meltzer, so please take a giant bag of salt and eat it, because that's what you got to do when you see a Meltzer report. Apparently the plan going into Mania, before the injuries, I'm assuming, were LA Knight and Brock Lesnar. And dear God, let's not make this happen.
but they also like a day later said that it was going to be Brock and Oba. So,
Listen, I'm a quote you, someone in this room, what they said. If they do that match, I'm doing porn.
That was me.
I'm glad. I'm at least glad Herm knew who I was quoting. Okay, because
And I'm not shy about it either.
Because at least Herm feels the same way I do. There's no fucking reason they should have this match. Brock already pretty much killed a top babyface already last year. Let's not have it be a quota type of fucking deal.
I mean, I could kind of defend it from a storyline standpoint.
Oh dear God.
I mean, let's just go with me for a second. Brock is associated with the Vision. He is basically Paul Heyman's hitman, or gun for hire, for a better term. So he is. LA is feuding with the Vision. So, leading into Mania, if he goes through all the Vision, it could be Brock in his way. So from a storyline standpoint, it's not that far out there. You got to at least see it from that point of view.
The only good thing I can see a long game thing coming out of it.
On top
Like,
of the fact,
okay,
you want LA Knight pushed. There's no bigger name for him to have a Mania match with than Brock Lesnar. So
yeah, but
it's a very
he
marquee
has
spot.
to beat Brock. And based on what we just saw Brock do the last time we saw him outside of the Rumble, there should be no fucking reason Brock Lesnar shouldn't go suplex, 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 F5, 1, 2, 3. And like I said, in terms of a long-term thing, I can see where it can go. Because if you establish Brock Lesnar as the new final boss for the Vision, when Braun comes back, you can start building that dissension between him and Brock, and eventually doing a Braun Breaker Brock match, which is fucking money. Like that match right there has money written all over it. So if you do establish Brock as the quote unquote final boss of the Vision, like he's Paul Heyman's mercenary, the guy he calls in when he needs shit really handled. Maybe Braun Breaker eventually gets too big for his britches, and Paul Heyman has to call in his mercenary to put down his new top dog.
And it's not, and there's establishment for that in storyline because isn't that what he did to Punk a decade ago when they had that SummerSlam match?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. So like, if this leads to a long-term thing with Brock and LA Knight, it sets up everything for Braun Breaker and Brock eventually. I'd take it more under consideration. But if we're just sacrificing LA Knight to Brock just because we want to give him a quote unquote marquee match at Mania and have him be quote unquote featured, I don't like it. I think the best thing you can do with LA Knight is him and Drew. It's literally right there, writing on the wall. It's something new. Both of those guys are entertaining and over enough to where they can sell any issue that they would have, and the issue would just be for the belt. And when is the last time in WWE we've actually had a meaningful, feud for the belt instead of, some stupid outside issue like, oh, I don't like you, or you hurt my feelings type shit. Like, the last time we've had, like, two guys fighting for a prize was Roman and Cody. Like, the prize was the WWE Championship was the prize at the end of the day. And I feel like that's what it needs to be with LA Knight and Drew. Drew's a 3-time champion already. LA Knight's a 0-time champion. So I that's the direction I prefer it to go. If we're looking for something to do with Brock, there's two options and only two options on the board. Him and Ova and him and Gunther. Because the thing with Brock is, you're right, that he's one of, if not the biggest star they have in terms of box office draw and people wanting to see his matches. But I also think we're at a point in Brock's career that he needs to start having these bigger matches with the new up-and-coming, like, monsters they have. Like Oba, Royce Keys, Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu. Those are the kind of matches I should see Brock Lesnar in going into 2026. But that's just me.
But are you also looking at it as a fan of LA Knight instead of the logical WWE storytelling?
No, I'm looking purely at his storytelling because I'm not the biggest LA Knight fan. Like,
I've heard you defending this guy more than most.
Yeah, I defend him because I see that I know the work this man's put. Like, LA Knight is fucking great. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy greatness when I see it. Like, I'm one of the few people who actually see the actual talent in this guy. He can cut a promo. He can work. People say, oh, he can't work for shit. Yes, he can. I believe he's one of the more underrated, underappreciated workers in the business because he can do some shit. He's in my eyes, I think he's the MJF, at least in the ring, he's the MJF equivalent of, like, in WWE. In ring. Like, he can do the same shit MJF does. He's just as good as MJF in the ring, and MJF is a fucking genius. LA Knight is almost the exact same way. So he's so good in the ring, he does all the mocap for the 2K games. That's how good he is. You can't say LA Knight is overrated in the ring when he's the one doing all the fucking moves in the goddamn video games people are paying fucking hundreds of dollars for.
Okay,
So
Ricky Saints is doing the same thing.
I wouldn't say that though. I don't think Ricky Saints in the ring, yes, but I don't think he's as entertaining as a personality as LA Knight yet.
I'm saying he
Like
does. I'm
Ricky
saying he
has
does.
shown those bright spots where he can be as entertaining, but he's not consistently as entertaining as LA Knight.
I was just using the doing the motion capture because he does this motion. He did the motion capture for this game that's coming out. So I'm going by based on that part. I mean, I disagree with you when it comes to LA Knight. I think he's a catchphrase. I don't think he's that good in the ring. I think he's vastly overrated. That's my opinion on as far as him goes. And I really don't think he should be in a world title match at WrestleMania against Drew because I don't think he should be in a marquee spot over someone like Cody. And I'm talking strictly from box office draw. You know Cody's up there, and Drew deserves the Mania match. And just based on where we see it going, I don't see LA Knight being put in that spot. Because then, so what? Is this your assumption? Is also with Drew still being champion, correct? Not just a
Yeah.
not just a Drew versus LA Knight match.
No, I think Drew is champion versus LA Knight for one of those for night one main event.
All right,
Because
so
night two's going to Roman and Punk. That there's no question about
all right,
that.
so let me ask you, where do you do with? Let's say they did go by what you're saying. What do you do with Cody for Mania?
You either do him and Jacob, you can build that blood feud, or honestly, if it's up to me, do him and Randy. Him and Randy does not need a belt to begin their feud. The belt eventually can come into play, but I think in order to start this feud between him and Randy, I Mania is the best place to start it. You could just build to the mentor versus the student. Miyagi versus Danielson. Like, you know what I mean? Randy was the guy who brought Cody in, showed him the ropes, and made him into the man he is today. There's no Cody Rhodes today if without Randy Orton. You can play on their history. You can play on the fact that they've been friends this entire time. Like, you can do Randy and Cody. And if they're so diehard to do something with Jacob, do Jacob and Cody. Because I think it's too soon to put Jacob in a main event match. I feel like they're kind of rushing it because they know they got to get Jacob up there soon. So, I don't know. Herm, let me ask Herm. Herm, what do you think about this LA Knight? What do we do with LA Knight going into Mania? If you're there. Herm? I think Herm's MIA.
Enrique, what about you? What do you think?
Well, thank you. I first of all, I think that individual match between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton wouldn't be something crazy to think about, but I think that the best choice would have been Fatu versus um, versus Drew McIntyre for the title at WrestleMania. Now with the current chamber match, I think the best option is LA Knight because not because I don't like Cody, I like him, but I think that he's been in the main title scene all the time. He's had all the main events, and I don't wouldn't like either Drew to lose the title before WrestleMania, but I wouldn't like either another Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. I think that Cody Rhodes has had has been way too many time in the world championship team, and I don't think that it would be negative for him to take a break. Just like Shawn Michaels in the 2000s, he wasn't always in the. He actually wasn't from all of his second part of his career in the world title scene. He still did a great job, and I think that a year or a year and a half for Cody would be great, and people would like him again.
See, when you say people will like him again, I don't think people don't like him. I think that's more of an IWC thing than anything because he gets the reactions and he's still getting positive reactions for the most part when he's at the arenas. I think the hate is more from the IWC for Cody than it is, in reality.
That's true, but the boosts, if you call it, they are increasing. Like a year ago or two, he wasn't that good, but he is he's being less cheered. People are having negative, more negative reactions. I'm not saying the whole crowd is has stopped cheering for him, but I think it's something slowly of getting tired of him.
I do agree that, Cody should be completely out of the title picture for at least a year. I think he definitely should do like a Sting route where he's chasing for a while and he has, all these different obstacles and different people stopping him from getting over to where he has to be. But I don't think that it's at a point that, everyone's necessarily turning on him from a, an actual in-ring standpoint, in arena standpoint.
See, with Cody, I think the best way to use him is you're keeping him on SmackDown anyway. Definitely put him in the U.S. title picture for now. Like the Rhea Ripley thing. Like Rhea Ripley, a lot of people were too tired of not only Rhea Ripley constantly getting title shots, but when she was champion, she was beating everyone, and she was damn near on every pay per view. So it's like I think a lot of people have that same syndrome with Cody right now, and I think they should do the same thing with what they did with Rhea. Put Rhea in a different division and let her run it and establish it. She's doing it. Her and Io right now are doing a great job establishing those women tag titles more than they have been in the past couple years. So if you give the American Nightmare a solid U.S. title run and him being the American boy, you can still push him as one of your top stars. Like he may not be your top champion, but he's definitely still one of your biggest box office attractions, and it would elevate that U.S. title division.
Just,
like have it,
just
especially when you got guys like Trick, Carmelo. Who else is in that mid card there? Alistair. Him and Alistair can run that shit back in WWE. I feel like there's a lot more for Cody to do being a top guy in the mid card than him being a top guy existing.
almost the way they did it with Cena when he won the U.S. title.
Yes, exactly. Like if Cody did the U.S. Open Challenge thing to try to keep that alive for Cena and stuff like that, I think Cody would be a great person to, the American Nightmare as the U.S. champion. Tell me that don't write itself. And like I said, Cody's a well enough established star to where that division would be elevated a shit ton if he had that belt.
I agree with that, and like I said, we're at a point that Cody keeps running it back, and he's already getting the Super Cena, you know, comparisons. You don't want to have that where 75% of the arena is saying Cody sucks, and then forcing him as a babyface for so many years, in the way that Cena was. So if you don't want to turn him heel, you definitely have to like drop him down a couple of notches on the totem pole. On top of the fact we want to give other people a chance to see if they could run with the ball.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to elevate. Like I said, Trick's pretty much already made on that roster. He is over. I'll admit that I'm wrong now. I was worried about Trick. I thought he just, even though right now he's just an entrance merchant, He's over his shit on the main roster right now. So
Thank you, Booker T. You know he
I
helped.
think so. I think in terms of what are we gonna do? Like how do we establish Trick going into the this division and stuff? Like definitely having Cody be a U.S. champ and have him and Cody feuding, that would be awesome.
I also disagree that he's an entrance merchant because I think he put on a pretty good show with Phoenix this past Friday. So I think he's backing it up in the ring.
Um, did you watch any SmackDown this week?
Yeah, I watched.
Well, I asked.
Yeah, I watched SmackDown.
What did you think of? I think there's only two things of note that we really need to talk about. What did you think of the Jordan Grace Jade match?
I thought it was good. I thought you could tell that Jordan was carrying the match, but Jade looked good in the match. It wasn't a 2 minute match like everyone was talking about. I think they went 2 segments. You know, um, I would not have hated the fact if they did do a title switch. The only thing I'm worried about is where Jade is going for Mania if Bianca is not going to be back.
Like I said, I highly doubt Bianca's not going to be at Mania. Even if she's not physically ready yet, she still has a month and a half to be 100% and get cleared. And it's only, and like I said, it's only a finger. Like I understand it's nerve damage.
It's her knuckle. It's not even the finger; it's the knuckle. It's nerve damage in her knuckle, and she can't. And
it being over a year, I think. I don't know. I think if it's still that bad, I think they'd rather still tease Jade and Bianca and wait till the last minute if they have to change it, than completely throw their plans in awry. Because I don't think they keep Jade off of TV as long as they did and not have her face anybody or have any defenses if Bianca wasn't in the plane soon. So I honestly thought it was Jade's best TV match. Like it was a really good TV match for Jade. It was a competitive. It was one of the first competitive matches we've seen her wrestle. Like, how many competitive matches have you seen Jade really just go out there and do her thing?
The last one was against Tiffany. No, they actually did the Tiffany squash. That's right, because Tiffany was injured, so they did squash Tiffany. So it had to be the first Tiffany match. I guess at SummerSlam might have been the last competitive match she had, right?
Yeah. And like I said, even then,
and that was still botched. That was still very botchy.
Exactly. I thought this one was better. And I think it was better just because Jordan works kind of the same way she does. So having someone who works similar as you, who can kind of lead you in the right places in the right direction, definitely came off a lot better than the last time we seen Jade wrestle a competitive match. So I thought this was a really well done match.
I think it also was a test for Jordan by WWE to see that if she could, be a ring general and, help more inexperienced people. So while she didn't win the title, I do think, it was a definite test for her as well as, it worked out for her. We knew she wasn't really winning the title. So, but it's good to you're still getting someone to push who's new, so that's good.
How's it going, Matt?
Not much.
Let me ask you real quick. Did you see SmackDown?
The episode that we just saw. Yeah, I saw it.
What do you think of Jordan and Jade?
Jordan and Jade. Honestly, I didn't watch the match because I was closing my store when that match was happening. I just thought it was sad that people were chanting for Dominic more than the actual match. They were chanting for Dominic.
Yeah, that was something. That's right. Thank you. That reminds me. Yeah, I don't like that they brought Dom and Liv out because I think for the first half of the match, more people were paying attention to them than the match themselves, even the commentators.
You know, they didn't care about fucking Jade and Jordan. No, we care about Liv and Dominic.
And then it wasn't until the match was really getting in the the tail end that they kind of got the crowd back. So I just felt it was like it took away from them and made it less important. So I am glad that they were given time for the match because I felt if it was a short match, it would have just been completely forgotten about because of Liv and Dom and all that.
I see. I didn't have that much of a problem just because they're trying to add intrigue on. Oh well, who is Liv gonna pick?
It's so obvious she's picking Stephanie Bonnier. Come on.
Yeah, there's no fucking way she's picking Jade. It'd be dumb. So like, but they're trying to add intrigue until A, they get Bianca back, and B, they get Bianca back.
The writers have literally admitted they have no plans for Jade Cargill. They literally said they have nothing for her right now. They literally have flat out gave up and said we have no plans for her.
No, what it was is they're saying that they're unsure of her Mania plans. I mean, I think it's been established that they haven't had plans for Jade for this entire 105 days because she's had literally no challengers.
She has no fucking challenges. But apparently people didn't like it because she beat Jordan Grace clean. They pretty much straight up said that Jordan is a jobber now.
Well, please, people don't understand freaking what that even means.
You know, and like alongside that, like I saw a segment. So this might seem like a hot take, but the segment between Kit Wilson, Damian Priest, and Nick Aldis, I fucking laughed so hard.
Oh, the truth segment was fucking hilarious this week.
I have not laughed so hard watching WWE. The last time I laughed so hard was the Uzi segment.
No, that shit was funny. Again, even though I despise the fact that they brought R-Truth back, made him as serious Ron Killings for 3 weeks, and then changed their fucking mind for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed their mind. Like, you had the perfect match. John Cena versus R-Truth for the WWE title right there.
But I don't know. Like I said, it was an entertaining.
The segment was so fucking entertaining. I saw a tweet though, and I don't know how I feel about this. They said "Road to WrestleMania," everyone. It's like, oh, so we're not allowed to have entertaining segments. Like everything has to be all serious and all game. It's like we can have a few fun segments. Kit Wilson is entertaining as fuck.
Kit Wilson has been one of the highlights of the show the past few weeks.
You know,
you know what? They should have him win the Andre Battle Royal.
No, like I said this to myself, and this might be the biggest hot take, but I think Kit Wilson should dethrone Carmelo Hayes.
No, hell no.
Oh, that's fair.
Just for 1 week, and then have Oba win the belt.
Hell no.
No, Oba should win the title, not Kit Wilson.
Kit Wilson does not need a belt.
Give him a heel transitional champion, like they did the Miz. Have him win the belt. Really?
He's not established enough on the roster yet. That's why he's doing the shit he's doing now.
Well, he's getting over. All the fans are chanting toxic with him, like they're loving him.
That's why I think he should win the Andre Battle Royal. I think that would be something that he could really play on as he goes forward after Mania. Was him?
I have no problem with that.
Like I could see, like he wins the Andre Battle Royal and proves that toxic masculinity didn't win the tournament.
And you don't got to be a giant, and then you get him. He keep getting destroyed by like these big giant guys.
Yeah, Oba Femi, like you are toxic.
So, and I also think people are being stupid saying that Oba, they're like Oba's supposed to be the next Brock Lesnar. Oba's supposed to be the next this guy, and he's in a feud with Kit Wilson. It's like it's one match. It's not a
feud. Is it really a feud though?
It's not a feud. It's a match set up for next week so he can get destroyed. I think, we gotta like relax when it comes to like things like that. It's just like people looking for anything to, like I said earlier, this is the hill they're looking to die on with stupidity. You know?
And the thing is
also,
like
with Brock Lesnar debut, who did he feud with initially, or who did he have his first matches with?
The Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys, but it was a moment in time where the Hardy Boys weren't doing anything, and he also had matches with I think Maven, Al Snow, Mike Dudley. just squashing everyone. I mean, if he doesn't if he doesn't lose the match and just squashes everyone, I think it's perfect. And also those jobbers like Kim Wilson will will have uh, will have screen time. So and they're doing their job. They're not going to beat Oba Femi
Someone on
and
the
ask
right?
him to do that.
You know, I agree. But the thing I wanted to bring up is that Kit Wilson is so fucking entertaining to the point where, like, even if he loses every match, he's still fucking funny. It's like he's still a wrestler where I don't care if he loses all the time because he's just so entertaining.
Exactly.
He's one of those characters to where even if he loses every match in 1 year, he's still credible. If it's weird to say it like that, like he still has that credibility to him even if he loses.
Almost like Chelsea Green.
Yeah, Chelsea Green is a great example of someone who is not the top star, but is so entertaining and is so fucking good that she feels like she should be up there.
All right, well, let's talk about the other big thing that happened on this show. Raheem Rhodes won the three-way.
I'm a bit
Bullshit.
because I thought it would have led to a triple threat in the chamber.
No, see, this is why I think the plan might be Cody and Randy. Because you notice they're the first two motherfuckers on SmackDown in the chamber. And if Jacob has nothing to do with the chamber, if he's like not in the chamber at all, I do see like Randy and Cody. They're gonna start sowing those seeds between Randy and Cody for Mania. Because again, that feud does not need the belt.
You think Randy's winning chamber?
No, hell no, fuck no. Again, I think LA Knight's winning. LA Knight should fucking win. But
I think Randy Orton's winning chamber.
Because I also have a feeling that they're gonna fucking last minute. I think they're waiting for that because it's not this week. Brock shows up next week on Raw, right?
Yeah, it's a week from tomorrow.
And Atlanta.
I can see them putting in Brock as a last second competitor. They need a sixth man. Paul Heyman's doing his schmoozing.
Oh no.
And Brock Lesnar be the sixth guy in the chamber.
Oh, that'd be a way to sell tickets.
And that might be just me, because I don't see why else they would have Raw, have him on the Raw going into Chamber.
But then the other problem is who do you have? You have to have Brock get beat. So who's gonna beat Brock in the chamber?
Gunther's winning that three. You think Gunther's not winning that three-way on Monday?
Oh yeah, Gunther's gonna be in, and then Lesnar will be in that. It'll set up their Mania match.
You see what I mean? That's the only reason why I'm thinking it's going that way. Because Dominic's not going into the chamber. I think it's a little, even though Javon in the chamber would be interesting with all the stunts, quote unquote, he can do.
Yeah.
But it's based on how they're booking this chamber so far. They're stacking with fucking star power.
Yeah,
When the Gunther doesn't qualify.
yeah, but no, because I think Oba is going to have the match with Brock Lesnar. If not, it would have been pointless that Brock Lesnar eliminated him.
I mean, no, I think no, because they can play to Brock and Oba in the future. I think it's too soon to throw Oba into Brock.
You think it's too soon for Gunther and Brock?
No, that was supposed to be Mania 2 years ago. Until Brock got outed. And they were like, oh, well, we can't bring Brock back, so let's just do Sammy.
Yep. Well, no, and in my opinion, people like to say when WWE went down, I'm sorry, but there were some early signs. Chad Gable should have fucking won that belt, not Sammy.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It would have been a better push for Chad Gable. He needed it more. It would have been more significant, and the story was better.
Yeah, he's battling Ludwig for a Ronda spot.
El Grande is still entertaining, but just that ending would have been better. Sammy didn't really need it.
But yeah, no, in terms of the Mania build, I think that at least the Chamber build, they're definitely trying to make the men's Chamber top heavy as fuck. So like, Gunther's gonna. I'm assuming Gunther's gonna win on Monday. There's almost no doubt in my mind.
I mean, the women's is getting top heavy too. You got Rhea, you got Alexa, you're gonna have Charlotte in there. You have
Tiffany.
You have Tiffany in there, so it's just as top heavy with stars.
I think Asuka's qualifying tomorrow.
Oh yeah, they do have another women's one tomorrow too.
Bailey, Asuka, and Natty.
No, actually, I don't think Asuka's winning it. I think it's gonna be Natty.
I thought you didn't like Natty's character.
I never said that. I never said that whatsoever. I said it's 5 years too late to push the old broad.
But how old is Natalia again?
43.
Oh, that's not bad.
For what are you talking about? In women's wrestling, she might as well be Moolah.
Fabulous Moolah. I know, but like 43, everyone treats 40 like they're fucking old, can't walk, have crutches.
Right, but when it comes to the
Matt,
women, when it comes to the women, they're usually done because they want to go have kids and stuff like that. I mean, look how old Trish and Lita were when they retired. You know, even though Trish decided still came back 20 times, you know, over the next 15 years, but you know, still. So you know, she's definitely up there as far as women. Granted, 43 is not old, and she could still go. But I do understand DJ's point of, you had the Natalia character for, 18 years, and you're just changing. It's almost similar to like turning Cena heel in the last 4 months of his career. You're doing it like, at the very end.
And I said it in a tweet, like, I love the presentation of Natalia. Like I said, everything looks great. It's just 5 years too late for any of us to give a shit.
So Big Mac is costing Natty on Monday? Well, tomorrow?
No, because I don't think that works as her as a babyface. Babyface don't go in and screw heels like that. Like
that's not necessarily true.
I think that in terms of, I think it's going to be Natty because they want to establish the new heel character and put her in a marquee match.
I can see it.
So like, I definitely see Natty going in instead of Asuka, because I also think the big match for the women going into Mania this year, outside of maybe if they don't pull the trigger on Rhea and Io, which is seeming less likely, I think they might. I think they're gonna try to pull off Io and Julia for the U.S. title.
Oh my god! Like, I was watching the Rumble and I had this idea for the faction, but I'm like, it's such an awful fucking idea.
What is it?
No, first off, Jameer, shut the fuck up. Don't ask him what is it.
Okay, Julia,
oh my fucking
Sky, Asuka, and Kairi Sane.
I've been getting that a lot. People actually want Julia to go to Raw, the team with the Kabuki Warriors. I'm like, why?
Julia, Asuka, Kairi, and Io all together, and they're the Imperial Empresses. The Imperial.
We already have them building to a Shinsuke Nakamura faction with Japanese guys. We don't need the Joshi faction.
Really? Oh, Shinsuke's building a faction?
I mean, you got Evil coming in. You got freaking
Tamatanga?
No, well, he's feuding with Tamatanga. But, the MFTs need another freaking group to feud with. We don't.
I
So
didn't realize he's building a faction, actually. Did I miss something?
no, I mean, I'm speculating, but with the rumors, that we got a bunch of New Japan guys coming into WWE, what else are you going to do with them? We always put, the like people together.
Why is they going to cut it?
Yeah, just put him in a faction. You have nothing to do, just put him in a tag team. Yeah, and also another big rumor I saw was, like, we probably talked about this already, but apparently there was a rumor that Lesnar and LA Knight would have a match at Mania.
We literally just got done talking about it. I was gonna say, I'm not rehashing this shit.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, you really missed that.
Pay attention. Join into the space on time, and you'll hear our shit.
I was working. I made some good money today. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
No, I'm just fucking with you. What else do I said all the things I wanted to talk about on SmackDown. Those are the only two things of interest to me.
Let's see, we had the women's tag match. We had the 10-man tag. Apollo Crews is alive. We found
Apollo
him.
Crews is still alive, and I actually really like that 10-man tag. We
And
haven't
he's
had
no longer Nigerian.
He hasn't been for a long time.
We haven't had a good old big man tag in a while.
Ironically, Trick was one of his guardsmen when he was doing that gimmick.
Yeah, the Nigerian gimmick.
Yeah, he was one of the guardsmen, like in the background.
What would be the greatest thing ever is if Oba walks up to Apollo and is like, I thought you had an accent like mine.
Almost what DX did with Kofi.
Kofi, exactly.
I thought you were Jamaican.
I thought you were Nigerian like me.
He's not. He doesn't even have the accent for real either, Oba.
That's what would make it so much more funnier.
And yeah, then he had the Alexa winning the 3-way. I don't think Julia should have been pinned. Wait, was Julia pinned or was Zelina pinned?
Zelina was pinned.
Zelina ate the pin.
Oh no, it was
even matter if Julia was pinned because didn't she get pinned in the tag team title match?
That's what it was. She got pinned in the tag match the week before. That's what I was saying. That I felt like.
It really didn't matter. And then if you put Io and Julia, I don't think Julia will be to retain it. I'd rather go with Io.
So that was pretty much it from SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown was mid as shit.
I put a quote out, that after 6 weeks they went back to the boring freaking, oh my god, is this 3 hours? Is this over yet? Way of SmackDown. This past SmackDown was probably the worst since they went back to 3 hours.
It definitely is starting to feel like it drags, and yeah, WWE and their booking and just their shows and putting shit together and trying to make shit interesting is just, it's like they're running against the wall. So let's, like I said, let's see how much they establish at Chamber and after Chamber before DJ starts taking victory laps.
Oh yeah, I think Trick's qualifying.
Trick could be one. I don't know. See, I don't think so. I think
Damien qualified.
Who's the match? It's Trick, Damien, and who else?
Carmelo Hayes.
Fuck, it has to be Trick now.
Yeah. Because you don't want Melo to take the pin.
Right, but then you don't want to pin Trick. But I guess it's in the chamber, so at least it's
Trick's not getting pinned unless it's
if
in
he's
the
in.
chamber.
I'm talking about in the chamber. If he qualifies to get into the chamber, he's not winning the chamber, so he's gonna have to get pinned.
It's not gonna hurt him.
Especially, yeah, it's not going to hurt him with the names he's going to be in there with. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Gunther. Like, yeah, LA Knight being in there with those names, Trick being like the first one out because he's the young guy. Or I can see Trick like maybe eliminating no, I can't even say LA Knight. I don't fucking know. It scares me.
So eliminate Cody.
Randy.
You want Trick to eliminate Randy?
No, I think Cody's going to eliminate Randy. I think Cody's eliminating Randy to build to that feud. Because that's who, either Randy's getting pinned or Cody's getting pinned. And that's who we're going to know who's turning heel. Because that's another thing we got to realize. If they pull off a Randy-Cody program, one of them is either turning heel at Chamber or turning heel at Mania.
It's not going to be Cody.
I don't know about that. See, I think Randy Orton is too much of the obvious safe bet in terms of who's turning on who. I think you can really establish Cody as his character and give him a fresh coat of paint if he turns on Randy Orton, especially how big of a babyface Randy Orton is now. Like, Randy Orton is the biggest he's as big as a babyface as he's ever going to be. And I don't think you turn him heel. I think you can still capitalize off this babyface energy Randy has for another year. Like, So I don't know. I think it's. I've been saying I think it's more than time for Cody to turn heel. He's been literally going against it for 6 fucking years. Like, no, just turn heel. You've been a baby face for 6 years. You've had a hell of a fucking run, kid. Time to give us something new and different. If Cody doesn't turn heel in 2026, I'm calling the downfall of Cody Rhodes.
I see him turning heel.
Like, he has to turn heel this year, especially to make up for the terrible heel turn we got with Cena last year.
Just the aftermath.
So, but that's just me. BRS, I see you just joined. How you doing, brother?
Hey man, I'm doing good, DJ. Thanks, man. Brandon, nice to meet you, bro. I've listened to a few of you guys' shows before, but I wanted to bring something up because.
Oh, did he cut off for anyone else, or is it just me?
No, he cut off.
Oh, you got me now? You got me now?
There he is.
My bad. It feels like this product, guys, is just ice cold. Like even like people that were tweeting, maybe a year or two ago, that you would see hundreds and hundreds of replies. Like you see 3 or 4 spaces like this that, and it's not this particular space. I'm just saying in general, like there would be wrestling spaces that would have 50, 60, 70, 100 people. And now it's like 10 or 12 or, you know what I mean, or 5. It just feels like they have completely destroyed the product, almost to the point that it feels like it doesn't even exist anymore. I don't even know how to describe it better than that. Do you guys get a little bit of that feeling? It just feels super niche right now, and it feels like something that people don't even care about, even in Royal Rumble season. It just feels that way to me. I mean, maybe I'm an anomaly, and just because I haven't been as into it really since the last year of Triple H. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you guys feel the same thing?
I feel there's too much wrestling, and I think that's the problem. So I think, that's why a lot of the interest level, on top of obviously, it hasn't been that great from a creative standpoint, specifically WWE. But I just feel that there's too much out there when it comes to WWE.
I agree.
We have an event pretty much.
Brandon,
we have an event pretty much every 3 weeks. We have 8 hours minimum of WWE TV every week.
9 if you include Evolve.
I don't include Evolve or AAA. I'm talking just between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. I just think that there's too much. It's also what's hurting the creative process because you have to fill up all those hours. When you had a lot less time and you had room to freaking get creative with stuff, but because you're filling so much, especially with these events and PLEs, if there's actually a break between 2 PLEs, you got a Saturday night's main event, which, they treat like a mini PLE in some cases. So I think it's a matter of just too much. You could literally watch wrestling, first run wrestling, every single day of the week. Every single day, whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, AAA. I mean, there is literally not a day off from first run wrestling. So I just think it's
not anymore.
Yeah.
No, I to that last point, I agree a lot with you, Brandon. It's a lot of the oversaturation of wrestling, but I also think a lot of it also, or at least from the WWE side of things, it's interest. I think the big downfall moment, and a lot of WWE fans will disagree with me probably, but Ropes will sit here and tell you I've been calling this since Jey Uso won the Rumble last year. That was the trigger. That to me was what caused WWE interest overall to go down. I think Cena's heel turn, and because I think Jey Uso's winning the Rumble started everything. After Jey Uso won the Rumble, then they did the Cena heel turn, and then after they did the Cena heel turn, they did the terrible fucking Mania match. Then after the terrible Mania match, then we get Seth Rollins fucking randomly faking a leg injury and burying LA Knight. Then Seth Rollins comes back out of nowhere to fucking beat Punk. Like, creatively, I feel like it's been on a downward trend since the Rumble last year. Specifically,
DJ, for me,
go ahead, sorry.
For me, bro, I can pinpoint. I think it was right after the Rock Cena heel turn. I agree. Like probably the start of it was Jey Uso, but when the Rock had nothing to do with it after the slitting the throat, and I mean that, and then they come out with Raw and then SmackDown, and there's no sign of the Rock, and it's evident that he's not part of this at all. And that was just, they took something really compelling and made you realize that like they don't even follow up on anything. You know what I mean? And I understand there might have been some internal, problems and issues with The Rock and Triple H or whatever it was. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, that they didn't follow up on that, and then it just seemed like every Mania match that year felt so unimportant and so stupid. Like Charlotte Tiffany and this, like the title changed hands, big deal. Like it just nothing felt important, and still nothing feels important. Like even the Royal Rumble, man, it just felt like nothing to me. I don't know how to describe it, but I agree with Brandon. The oversaturation where they're making you feel like you have to watch 9, 11 hours of programming every week. It really is a lot to take in. And I think, even if you look at something like college football, like people look forward to Saturdays because they didn't get it. First of all, there's an off season, obviously, but you don't get it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what I mean? So you look forward to it. And I feel like WWE in this era of TKO wanting to make the most money and have the most shows and everything, it just feels like they're hitting you with so much content that none of it's enjoyable anymore,
And that falls into what you just said. The Rumble this year felt like an afterthought because they seemed to put more effort into Saturday Night's Main Event the week before than they did the actual Rumble itself. Because again, you may have had 6-7 weeks in between PLEs from 2025 to the Rumble, but you had like 2 Saturday Night Main Events. So again, the oversaturation, 9 hours a week. There's freaking you got TNA, you got AEW. It's like wrestling on top of wrestling on top of wrestling. And it's like at some point, it's almost like hitting your head against the wall. And just from a creative standpoint, it's so difficult to constantly create for that many amount of hours a week to come up with something fresh that's going to keep people intrigued. It's an impossible task. And I know it's...
Yeah, but I also feel, bro, like they have the wrong people. I feel like the Performance Center, I'm saying specifically about WWE, but I feel like they are prioritizing matches and in-ring rate work type of stuff over characters, I understand everyone's got their little character, I guess, but like it doesn't really mean anything. Like there's no Stone Cold type of characters that people are really drawn to now. There's some good personalities here and there, but on the whole, it just feels like everything's about the match with Triple H rather than being about the story that makes you excited about the match. Really, the last big match that I was really excited for, honestly, was Roman Cody, and I really mean that because Roman Cody had an actual story to it that was long running and made sense, and then to see it play out in the ring was obviously great. And I can't remember the last real great story that they had, in my opinion, that came close to that in the last 2 years,
It's funny that you say that because that's like the complete opposite of the critique that AEW fans give for WWE. Because they always say it's about the entrances and it's not about the in-ring work. And you're saying that they're concentrating more on the in-ring than they are everything else. So it's kind of funny to hear that because it's like the complete opposite of the narrative that the sickos like to say about WWE, that they're more about the personalities and the characters and not about the in-ring work. And you're saying that, you feel they concentrate more on their in-ring and the work rate than they do about the storylines or the characters.
I feel that way. Like, look, I'm not saying like every match should be a squash match, obviously. I'm not saying that. But like there was something too when Vince would have a squash match that would last, a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever. Like now I know with Triple H that every single match is going to be somewhere from 12 to 22 minutes. Every single match. And I think a lot of that is, like you said, to fill the television time. They have so much of it and whatever. But I think a lot of it is just like, you got to this point. You earned it. And we're not gonna, we're not gonna let you get taken out in 3 minutes. But as we know, watching UFC or boxing or whatever, like there is a place for a 1 minute match or a 2 minute match. There is, like, because that happens in real sports. That happens in real fighting. Like sometimes someone just gets knocked out immediately, and that happens. Like to me, I feel like I don't even need to watch the first 8 or 9 or 10 minutes of a match because I know like the finish is coming at the 14-minute mark or the 15-minute mark. So it's all just a waste of time to get to the first commercial. And I think sometimes that element of surprise, like, hey, I better watch because this match could end in 3 minutes or it could end in 23 minutes. I'm not sure. There's something to that a little bit.
I mean, I don't think that is necessarily that way with WWE. I would say that's definitely more towards AEW. The matches are going to go. It's very rare that you get a squash match. I mean, that's what we saw with MJF and Brody King. And no one expected that to happen because, usually in AEW, they're guaranteed to go at least 10 to 20 minutes. I've seen plenty of, complaints how WWE matches are too short. So it's actually interesting that you feel that way. But we've seen squash matches. I mean, we saw Oba squash Kit Wilson. He's probably going to squash Kit Wilson again this week. He's come in and he's destroyed, the War Raiders. So, I think it's just a matter of the oversaturation and, there's just not that character that's really grasping people in a way. And, that still falls under, the fact that there's so much time to fill. And you just can't, it's just impossible, no matter how big your creative team is, it's just impossible to have that much creative juice to last 9 hours a week.
Yeah, I agree, man. Even with like Roman Reigns, man, like when they brought him back at that SummerSlam, and I was really excited to see him come back and everything like that. And then, it's like tag team match after tag team match after tag team match after tag team match, and then I just started to realize like, oh, he's not doing anything important. And here we are 2 years later, and really, other than the solo match for the necklace, I don't know, has he had another one-on-one match? Has he even had one? I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I mean, he lost in Paris. He lost to a street fight to Bronson Reed. That was a singles match. I think that was actually
that's right.
I think that was actually his last singles match he had was Clash in Paris. SummerSlam was a tag match. He had the singles match at Clash in Paris. He was I think he was out until he came back for War Games. Then the Rumble. And now his next singles match, unless I doubt he's going to have a match before Mania, but will be at WrestleMania, will be in his next singles match. DJ, do I have that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sorry if I sidetracked anything. I just wanted to like kind of get.
No, you're good. We were actually, filibustering for a second, so you came in like right at the perfect time.
Yeah, two more minutes. We probably would have ended the show. So it's a good thing you popped it.
Hold on. He's finally out of work.
Uh-oh.
My sexy fucking misogynistic co-host is here. What's up, sexy?
Hey, I can finally talk, and it wasn't a good time. I want to tell VRS that he is 100% right. This fucking shit is watering the fuck down. They're just feeding us a whole fucking advertisement with some wrestling in it. There is a fucking ad everywhere. Is WWE still a wrestling company or an advertising company? There is ads on the ring, there is ads on the table, then there's 3 hours, but do they even put anything behind the story now instead of just giving you ads everywhere, shitty matches, and just watered down content. And this is just commercial wrestling. Wrestling 3 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Tuesdays, 3 hours on Fridays, and then the PLEs and every other shit they got going around. It's true. How can you make a good show when you gotta put that much content? At this point, they're just making money off advertising and hope that you watch and spend your goddamn money.
Yeah, and it feels like they're going away, man. It feels like there's a lack of soul in the product right now that is almost indescribable, but it just feels like. I mean, is anyone excited for Jade Cargill's championship defense at WrestleMania? Is anyone excited for Becky Lynch's Intercontinental Championship defense at WrestleMania? Probably not, because all these things could just happen on Raw or SmackDown. It like just doesn't matter. It just feels like it doesn't matter. It feels like WrestleMania is going to be like a giant episode of SmackDown or something. It just doesn't feel important to me, and I don't know what the hell. I'm trying to pinpoint, honestly. Yes, it's the content, it's too much of it, all those things, but I don't know, man. It just feels like the soul has been sapped from the product.
I don't want to watch it, and I used to watch this all the time. I mean, I will sit there and watch it live the whole week. I will even watch AEW. I don't watch this shit anymore. I have just become a person that just wants to catch some highlights and then see the real PLEs, Royal Rumble, Chamber, WrestleMania, and after WrestleMania, I would probably not watch anything. Depending on what is being put out there, I'm just not gonna give a fuck. Maybe come back for SummerSlam. That's about it. That's as much interest as I have, and I am agreeing with you 100% on what you're saying. It's just these companies are just putting wrestling in the toilet.
Yeah, pretty much. Ropes, have I not been calling this shit since January or February of last year?
Since last year, we've been saying that this is shit. There's no, it's just not. I don't have the feeling that I got in WrestleMania 40, and I expected it not to be like that, obviously, because I think that was a very special WrestleMania. But to be this bad, come on, man, you gotta give me something. Where is the drama? I love drama in wrestling, and I just don't. I don't feel it. I don't see it.
I agree, man. I don't see it either, man. I don't feel it either, and it just. I don't know if it's the corporatism of TKO, which is like so obvious. Like, I just don't know what it is, man. But like, even Money in the Bank, like watching the women's match with Naomi and all the seats are empty, and then watching this last one, the Royal Rumble, all the seats looked empty. I don't know, man. It just feels like a dying thing. It feels like, honestly, like this company, like, not to say it won't be around anymore, but it feels like they might be playing to like very small arenas. I don't know. Like the one thing that I think that they do a really good job of is that when they go to these cities, they put enough space and time between each appearance. Let's say in San Diego it'll be once a year, and then in Miami it'll be once a year, and in wherever. Like they put enough time usually between where they go, where the crowd's like, all right, I guess I'll pay and go. You know what I mean? And like there's usually a halfway decent crowd, but even that, man, I'm just seeing like less kids in the crowd, less families in the crowd. I just don't see people talking about it online like I did. Again, like big accounts that I used to see getting, thousands of replies are just getting like, 20 or 15 and a lot of bot replies. And I'm just not seeing like an engagement with the fan base that I saw before all this,
Well, like I said, I think the oversaturation also leads to such a quick turnaround in the news cycle that nothing matters. You could have something happen. Brock show appears on Monday and he F5s Roman, and the place is going nuts and everything. And then something happens on NXT, and then by the time we get to Wednesday, MJF and Hangman had this promo battle. No one remembers Monday anymore. And there's just so much content and such an oversaturation, and the news cycle moves so fast, and wrestling fans have such a short memory and a short attention span when it comes to those things that, nothing lasts and nothing leaves an impression like that. We even on the other side, you see, all these people talking about AEW. Oh, Dynamite was like top 10 Dynamite of the week, or of all time. But by the time Saturday comes around, no one's talking about Dynamite because it's just another Wednesday. No matter how good these shows are, no matter how good a promo is, things are moving so fast because there's so much content. There's nothing that's no one's taking it in. So I think that's another part of the reason is just it's more the oversaturation. There's just too much out there, and nothing gets to breathe and nothing gets to live because something else happens and then something else happens. I mean, even on Twitter, you're talking about you see these big accounts that don't have the engagements they used to have because even with the news stories we see, by the in the morning we'll see a news story and that news story will be covered up by a different news story that comes out 2 hours later that no one's talking about that original news story because we're moving so fast when it comes to these wrestling news stories because there's just so much out there.
Well, like, I just feel like maybe for me, but like a lot of the people at the top also, for some reason, they just don't resonate with me. Like, Io Sky is, obviously heavily, heavily pushed. She's one of my least favorites, and that's just me. But again, like it's like Io and Ripley, and I just feel like that they have a lot of the wrong people at the top. I don't know. I think someone like Rhea, like she's fine and all, but like she caters to a very niche fan base. Someone like Io caters to a very niche fan base. I just don't feel like there's characters for everyone now. I don't know, maybe I'm just talking shit. I don't know, guys.
No, first of all, I agree with you on the EO thing. I don't see the fucking what everyone sees in EO because there's nothing like. How can I say this? She doesn't stand out. Like I always thought Asuka was more of a better talent than EO, and like I get that like EO's extremely athletic and she can do some very fancy flippity doodads, but she's not really good at selling. She can't cut no promo. She has no personality. Her personality is I'm a Joshi, and I just like I said, I never thought she was the best in the ring, especially for WWE and their style of wrestling. Like I feel like she's definitely more tailor made for an NXT or an AEW. Like that's where her talents would be best used. But I I I don't know. I'm gonna just stay out of this one because we all know how I feel about WWE at this point. But DJ's just a hater, or whenever I'm critical of something, I have no credence to it because I'm not in the business. But no, like WWE has been doing as a fan, as an observer, and as someone who watches this shit, and as Dave Meltzer likes to say, studied this shit. Like, I feel like I have enough to sit here and say that WWE has killed a lot of interest. And it's not even like killing interest for just WWE's business. I think they killed a lot of interest for wrestling in general. But not CMLL, but AAA, TNA, and as of 2026, AEW. I will be one of the few people to sit here and say AEW has somewhat pulled their head out of their ass. They've done a fair job to try to quote. I think this is the first time they've actually tried to restore the feeling, because I think Tony knows he needs to do it, and I think it's kind of funny that Tony, is actually booking decent shows and booking somewhat coherently when TNA gets a fucking TV deal and getting almost as much as Collision was before the Nielsen ratings boost. So I'm all for competition, like I said, the fact that TNA's got a TV deal now makes Tony a little nervous because he knows he's not the only billionaire playboy in town. Because I am almost willing to bet 85% that TNA is getting bought out this year by someone, either WWE or Lorenzo Fertitta. So we go when it happens in a few months, we'll just remember DJ called it. Time of death. I'm just kidding. Anything else, Brandon, or anyone else want to talk about before we get up out of here? Enrique, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, thank you. I do have a question regarding TNA. This is more a general question, but it's in two parts. First of all, what do you think about the main event scene or the world title scene in TNA? And second, who do you think it's gonna be the next world champion?
Well, I said it when it happened earlier, when we did the TNA review for No Surrender, because apparently I'm the only one in the room who watched No Surrender. Steve Macklin and Santana is interesting, and the main event scene is good for what they have access to. If TNA was actually able to be able to pull in like an AJ Styles out of retirement, quote unquote, or get like an EC3 or a Braun Strowman, one of those well-established names in wrestling to be in their main event scene, I think they'd be a lot better off. But the fact that they have, Steve Macklin, Nick Nemeth, for lack of a better term, and AJ Francis, a Frankie Kazarian, those are well-established guys in the wrestling business to where you can have good matches, have some good programs, and establish the TNA brand. And I'm saying that this as one of the few people who's been watching TNA for the past year and noticing the growth that they've shown. Because I'm telling you, TNA last year...
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I think TNA last year improved leaps and bounds compared to everything else, though. And the fact that TNA didn't win Promotion of the Year last year, I call bullshit. But I think that might be it for today, Brandon.
Yep.
We've been at it 2.5 hours. Ropes came in for the last 15 minutes, so it made it worth it.
I'm getting a little jealous of how you're talking about your bitch in front of me. So
don't call Ropes my bitch in front of Ropes. I only can do that behind the scenes. Just kidding, Ropes. But yeah, we're gonna be back next week, next Sunday. They'll be more established in the fucking Elimination Chamber show. Some AEW will do fucking something. And yeah, someone's gonna piss off me or Brandon at some point again. So that'll be fun to look forward to as well.
Yeah. And that'll be it for today. Thank you for everyone joining. Don't forget to follow our socials. It's pinned to my profile for all our TikToks and YouTube videos, and this will be posted around midnight tonight on YouTube. So we'll see you next week. Thank you.